If you're curious how you can buy multi-unit rental properties on a repeatable basis, then you found the right video. Hey Daniel, cue in the intro please. Hey, how's it going? Welcome friend, my name is Juan Pablo. Now if you're new to this channel, I definitely appreciate you visiting, but on this channel, we like to focus on the 3 pillars to financial freedom, which are personal finance, relates to credit repair, funding, having a repeatable source of that, and of course, real estate investing. We focus a lot on multi-units and multifamily properties, all right? Now, again, if you're new, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like the video and subscribe so that way the algorithm, YouTube and so forth, can do its thing and provide you with additional video content that can help you along your journey towards financial freedom. So without further ado, let's jump into the topic. Let's discuss how I buy multi-unit rental properties on a repeatable basis. First thing is this. I can somewhat sum it up into a quote, right? If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. Whoever quoted that, that's a really good quote. But that's the first thing, right? You have to plan it first. And you have to plan out how many units or properties you want in a given year. But you got to make sure that it means something. It must be meaningful. Meaning, if you realize you did the math, right, and you calculated your pile, make sure your passive income exceeds your living expenses. And you did the math, you found out that, okay, let's say you need 50 units to retire. Now, for some, that can sound pretty daunting, right, 50 units. But you might say, okay, well, how can I break this down into actionable steps? Okay, if I want to retire in the next 5 years, or some people might be more aggressive in 1 year, but let's say 5 years. And you can do either one, by the way, whether it's next year, 5 years, 10 years, it's based upon your level of aggression, how bad you want it. But let's say you want to take it slow and steady and do 5 years. So if you break it down, okay, 50 units divided by 5 years, that's 10 units a year. So then you can say, okay, well, how can I get 10 units a year? Perhaps I can buy a 5 unit every 6 months. So that way, if you plan things out and break it down to its core essentials, especially if you have a motivating factor behind it, which is financial freedom, you then have something to aim for. You have a goal in mind that can potentially be achievable. And it's all quantified, so you can say, you know what? Every 6 months, buying a 5 unit, that's doable. And as long as I just do this every 6 months, just buy a deal every 6 months, that will get me closer to my goal. So that's one way of how you can buy properties on a repeatable basis. Just plan. Now, I do have a video recommendation for you. If you check the link below in the description, I have a video. It's actually a podcast episode titled Plan. And it's an acronym. And I break down the whole acronym plan, what it stands for, and how you can take that information and apply it to your current situation. So check the link below to learn more about that. Now, the second thing you want to do is after you plan out your number of units you need, you also need to plan your financing. So for instance, if you want to buy a 5 unit every 6 months, twice a year, you also have to plan out, well, how am I going to fund a 5 unit every 6 months? So you have to be thinking of all the different financing options that you can potentially have at your disposal, as well as how you can creatively finance deals as well. So you not only do you want to do the research and see how many sources of capital you can get your hands on, but you want to be strategic about how you apply it. So for instance, I had one student, he joined one of our coaching sessions and he mentioned, well, Juan Pablo, I applied for business credit today, let's say it's in November, and he said, well, the next time I'll be able to apply for business credit will be in July. And then he said, well, and I currently have a rental property that has built-in equity, and I can get access to $40,000 there. So I said, okay. So if we plan this thing out in regards to your finances, and your plan is, his plan was to buy a property once a quarter. So I said, okay, July, that's Q3, right? So you already have funding set up for Q3, that's the business credit. So you got that knocked down. Great job on that. And you say you have $40,000 right now in investment capital, and you want to use that money towards your next deal, which is in Q1, let's say January. So you got that checked off too. So you got $40,000 for Q1 from pulling money out of your rental through a cash out refinance, and you might have an additional $45,000 of business credit that you can get access to in Q3 in July. So now what you have to do is focus on how can you get additional source of investment capital for Q2 and for Q4. And of course, in the coaching session, we broke that down, but I'm not going to break that down today on this YouTube video. And the third thing is this: you want to be able to plan out your time effectively. So even though you might have the goal in place, even though you might have some financing resources in place, but if you're mismanaging your time, meaning you don't have your time structured not just on a weekly basis or a daily basis, but on an hourly basis to help you get closer to your goals, then guess what? That dream, the goal, will never become a reality. So for you to effectively buy properties on a repeatable basis, you gotta effectively manage your time. So when you manage your time, you're also managing your financing. And by the way, for the financing, I actually have a video recommendation for you to check out. It's about creative financing. So just make sure you check the link below in the description to learn more. But back to the time management, because you're a busy person, right? You might have a day job, you might have a family, friends, other commitments, and you don't want those things to slip through the cracks. Because I don't want you to start reallocating your time, your focus towards real estate, but you're not really paying attention to your job, your commitments with others, and those things fall by the wayside, right? So you want to make sure you have wholeness in every arena. So in order to have wholeness in every arena of life, you got to manage your time effectively, meaning by the hour, right? So you got to have a calendar with all your set appointments to make sure you're consistently doing real estate related activities so you can accomplish your goal in that scenario of getting a 5-unit every 6 months. All right, guys, so that's it for this video, just short and sweet. So if you're interested in learning more about how you can buy multi-unit rental properties out of state in your backyard, or even using creative financing, OPM, I have a free training for you. Just check the link below in the description to learn more. As always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately.